So aggravating. You know what I'm talking about. We all been there, probably used the wrong tool for the job, did more damage than good. Well, no worries, you don't have to be that guy, because today on Tech Garage, there's a tool for that. Welcome to Tech Garage, presented by RockAuto.com. Well, we get a ton of feedback throughout the year saying, man, that was a cool tool. What did you use? Or how did you make that job look so easy? Well, we dedicated a whole show just for you guys. Rock Auto hooked us up with all kinds of specialty tools, and yes, there's a tool for that. I'm starting out with suspension. Man, there's a ton of tools for suspension to make your life easier. Let's go ahead and look at a few of them. The first one I'll look at right here, well, this is a ball joint press. Rock Auto offers this, and if you ever tried to press one of these ball joints out, you know you have to grind the rivets out the whole 9 yards. This press here, there's really no way to get it out without it, so you want to have that. Now, I know a ton of you can relate to this. You got the shock absorbers right up top here. You go ahead, you try to spin this nut off, it spins the whole apparatus inside the shock absorber, or this is all rounded off. Guess what? There's a tool for that. Check it out. You actually have a nut that goes down on there, and this piece right here goes through the middle and holds the top of the strut spindle that goes through. Look at that, not even touching it. So you can go down, now you can take that nut off, hold this one, and never strip out that nut or ruin your shock absorber. Another one right here, you have a tie rod end, you want to separate that. Well, that could be a problem. So I got a tie rod puller right here. You're going to use that right there so you don't damage it, and or you can get these pickle forks. They come in all different shapes and sizes. Beat it in there and go ahead and separate that, pop it out of there. This is good for a lot of the joints on the steering system. It works really, really well. Now also, when it comes to the pitman arm on a steering system, the pitman arm is located right here. Now the pitman arm has a pitman arm puller. You're not going to get that off as well. It's a press fit, so you just slip that on, put it underneath there. Man, you crank on that thing, you're going to pop that pitman arm off with no problem. There's a tool for that. Now we'll talk a little bit about tires down here. You want to mess with a tire, you want to do a tread depth gauge, figure out if your tires are safe. I have two of them, a digital one or a regular one. Just pop it down there, read the number. You can tell how much tread you have on your tires. Speaking of tires, right here on your studs on your wheels right here, there's actually a stud puller that you can pull the stud back in when it breaks from the back of the rotor. You can put that back in there and pull it. You won't do any damage and get it in there. Believe it or not, there's a tool for that. Let's go down here a little bit, man. There's all kinds of cool tools. This right here is a rack and pinion, and there's a nut in here. Sometimes it's hard to get to. They have a huge extension that goes over the end to get to it, to take it off. Coil springs, you got to take them out. You need to compress them. They have a coil spring compressor. You can just put it on here, squeeze it down, compress it, use the safeties, lock it in, you're good. One more. Everybody's tried to pry a power steering puller off a pump. Man, all kinds of damage occurs. Just get you a puller set like this here, pop it right on there, boom, put it in there, pull it, use it to press it back on. Never damage a power steering pump. There's a lot of suspension tools, but there's even more.
Man, we've all been there. We have a bearing we need to install. We run around the yard looking for a pipe just the right size. Don't do that. Just go ahead and get the right adapter set. Right here from RockAuto.com, we have all kinds. So just go ahead and get the right set, make sure it matches up, and install it the correct way. As far as bearings go, that's all you need to do. Moving on, let's move over to our puller set. Harmonic balancer pullers, gotta have those. Don't go into the job with a pry bar, big long flathead screwdrivers. You're gonna mess something up. Speaking of installing stuff correctly, go ahead and get the appropriate seal installer kit. You don't want to run around your yard looking for pipes and pieces of wood to try to get on there just so it goes in just right and you still end up with it cocked to the right or left. Just get the right tool for the job. You saw John earlier try to pry that thing out with a pry bar and stuff. You don't want to do that. You're going to end up gouging the inside of your axle housing. All you have to do is get the right tool. It's easy as 1, 2, 3.
Now, when it comes to brakes, how do you know your brakes are bad? Well, RockAuto.com helps us out here. We've got these tools. We're able to put the edge of these up to our brakes. If you're in the green zone, that means you have enough friction material and you're in good shape. If you get down into the yellow zone as far as the thickness goes, you're going to need to watch out and change your brakes pretty soon. If you, my friend, are in the red zone, then you are in big trouble and you should not go anywhere. You should replace your brakes immediately. Now, when it comes to replacing your brakes, of course, you want to take the calipers off. And when you do that, guess what? We got this adapter set from rockauto.com. You've got Torx bits here, and you've got also Allen keys as well. So whatever your make or model of brake, you'll be able to get it off using this. Once you get it off, now you've seen people use bungee cords to hang the calipers on there because you don't want to hang it from the brake line. You'll do all kinds of damage. Again, bungee cords do work, but rockauto.com helps you out here. They have this special tool. You're able to hang up your calipers from somewhere on the frame or the suspension parts, and you won't do any damage to your brake lines. When it comes time to put in your new brake pads, we've seen people do all kinds of crazy things. C-clamps, big pry bars. You could get injured. You could do some damage. You don't want to do that. Instead, use this tool from rockauto.com. You slide it in between the brake calipers, you ratchet it, it pushes outward, it compresses that piston, gives you the space to put in the new brake pads. Here's another great tool we've got from rockauto.com. This is a vacuum pump. You can use it when you're bleeding your brake system after you've installed everything, and you can also use this as a gauge when you're testing your brake booster. Now, if your emergency brake is integrated into your brake caliper, none of that's going to work. Instead, you're going to need this. This is a special kit from rockauto.com. We've seen people use all kinds of crazy tools. You can use a big Phillips screwdriver. That's going to slip. That's not going to work for you. A lot of people use needle nose pliers to get in here. Not a good idea either. Instead, this kit comes with little adapters. You find the right one that works with your brake, and you're able to wind that in. That compresses the piston and opens it up so you can slide in your brake pads there. Now, that is a mechanical emergency brake. If you have an electrical one, you're going to need a way to retract that caliper, and you can't do it mechanically, so you need to do it through a computer. Now, this little tool plugs into your OBD2 port right under your steering wheel. You find the make of your car, enter it, and it opens that for you, and you're able to slide in your new brake pads. We have a lot more cool tools coming up next on Tech Garage, presented by rockauto.com.